Most people today think that they're just gonna main gain their way from 150 pounds lean to 200 pounds lean, all by eating enough protein and training hard. But unfortunately, if you've fallen victim to this advice, you're gonna discover, if you haven't already, that this is an excellent way to never make any progress. And even worse, just waste a ton of time. Now, real muscle growth. And hold on, let me preface what I mean by real muscle growth. I'm not talking about adding a few pounds on a skinny guy's physique and calling it progress. When I'm talking about real muscle growth, I'm talking about actually changing someone's physique. I'm talking about taking the 150-pound guy who's just skinny and transforming him into the 200-pound guy who's lean, muscular, and everyone knows he spends a good amount of time in the gym. That type of progress, it requires work. It requires a meticulous approach to training and nutrition. And if you're here and concerned with arguing over how to put 5 pounds of muscle on a skinny guy's frame, turn the video off. This isn't for you. Just eat a bit more protein, get your calories in, and weight train, problem solved. But if you're here looking for an approach to add 10, 15, 20, or 30 pounds of muscle over not a 12-week period, but rather years or even a lifetime of training, let me explain to you what you might not know about building muscle mass. First, once protein requirements are met, you must increase calories. You must purposely drive your body weight up, and you must get a bit uncomfortable in the process. Let's touch on increasing calories first. Forget what you think you know about bodybuilding science for a second. Take a 150-pound lean bodybuilder and you take a 200-pound lean bodybuilder. Who do you think needs to consume more calories to maintain their weight? The 200-pound lean bodybuilder has more muscle tissue, which requires more calories to maintain. The 200-pound lifter has a higher basal metabolic rate, which means he's burning more calories around the clock, even when he's sleeping. And he's likely training at higher intensities in the gym regularly, due to his abilities to lift more weight because he has more muscle tissue. This increased training intensity also burns more calories. So now, if you want to become the 200-pound bodybuilder, you're obviously going to need to consume enough calories to suit a 200-pound bodybuilder's needs. Of course, that might sound obvious, but here's the part where people seem to misunderstand one simple thing. You need to assume those additional calories before you become 200 pounds, not just after you hit the 200-pound mark. Now, of course, an increase of calories is not all going to be muscle mass. At first, a caloric surplus is going to net more muscle tissue, but of course, if it's more calories than you're burning, some fat mass accumulation is a natural result. This is called pushing your body weight up. Let's touch on that. The irony in the bodybuilding community is that so many guys say things like, you cannot do X if you're natural, whether that's training body parts multiple times per week, maybe something like training more than 3 days a week, or any other cop-out that you can come up with. Yet, somehow, these same guys think you can naturally gain your body weight from 150 pounds to 200 pounds just eating at maintenance. Gaining 10, 20, or 30 pounds of lean muscle tissue without any fat, or even increase in calories, that's something that even most enhanced guys wouldn't even claim. But that's a topic for another day. The short answer, that's ridiculous to even assume. But now the next question is, how do you actually grow more muscle as you push your body weight up? To push your body weight up, you're slowly increasing calories and you're slowly practicing progressive overload in the gym. Simply taking your maintenance calories, let's say you're starting at 2,800 calories per day, and let's say you decided to now bump them up to 3,400 calories per day, but you're not focusing on progressive overload in the gym, that's gonna result in some weight gain for sure, but very little in muscle mass. Now, to ensure that as we push our weight up, a significant amount of muscle mass is added in the process, we must progressively lift heavier in the gym as we progressively eat more calories. As you take your body weight up from 150 pounds to 200 pounds, you should progressively go from lifting like a 150-pound lifter to a 200-pound lifter. There should be a proportionate amount of strength gained for every pound of body weight. Great example is a simple exercise like the bench press or even a row. If you're now 10, 20, or 30 pounds heavier than you were a few months ago, that bench press strength should also climb accordingly, especially if your training and recovery is on point. And if you're progressing in the gym and you're also steadily increasing your calories, and as a result your weight is climbing, you should be adding a decent amount of lean mass in the process. But of course, pushing your body weight up to new levels is never going to be comfortable. So let's touch on this last topic. New body weights are the goal. And doing anything new is never necessarily the most comfortable experience. I sit around 195 pounds most of the year. In my heavier bulking phases, I'm about 205 pounds. Currently, I'm just under 210 pounds, pushing my body weight up to 215 to 220 at the end of this bulk. I've actually never been above 205 pounds in my life, but I'm currently pushing my weight up to 215 to 220. My body composition currently, it's not the best. I'm definitely adding a bit more fluff, but I'm also pushing the most weight in the gym I ever have in my life. And as a result, I'm adding new muscle tissue. Now, next diet phase, I'm gonna come back down to the 195-pound mark, but I will be leaner than I ever was at that body weight. And I'm totally fine with having to add a bit more fluff to accomplish that end goal. And no, it doesn't feel great. I'm carrying a bit more fluff around my stomach, my face definitely gets a bit fuller, and I'm definitely not photo shoot ready by any means. But when I diet back down and I'm walking around shredded or single-digit body fat, at a body weight that I'm normally around 12%, I'll have added a significant amount of lean muscle mass, the type that actually changes someone's physique. And until you start to understand that you're not gonna magically carry 10, 20, or 30 more pounds of lean muscle as a result of just eating clean, getting enough protein in, and training, you're probably gonna spend a lot more time getting the job done than necessary. So don't be afraid to push your weight up. Push for progression in the gym and actually transform your physique as a result. If you need the programs that I recommend to build more muscle, using proven old school bodybuilding methods, all my old school mass gain programs are down below. And as always, if you want to see more of the best original bodybuilding content just like this, make sure to hit subscribe.